I am absolutely delighted to have with me company for two athletes I consider sort of my Beijing team, the team that was with me in Beijing, the Olympic contingent that was with me in Beijing in 2008. They are medalists. I'll go by alphabetical order. Abhinav Bindra, gold medalist, Vijender Singh, boxing bronze medalist, the first gold medalist and the first medalist, Olympic medalist in boxing. Welcome to the to our little chat here at HT NxT Summits. How difficult then, Abhinav, are the Olympics? Because we've seen our athletes here who have performed exceptionally internationally at all events. They've come to the Olympics, particularly let's bring on shooting, which had one finalist out of 15 shooters, and they haven't performed the way that they had performed in all these world championships and world cups and all these other events. What can you just tell people that are watching and all the young men and women that are taking an interest, that what is it about the Olympics that is so very different to a normal sort of a competition? And Vijender, I'll come to you with the same question from your sport as well.
Well, I think the thing is nothing can compare, no other championship can compare to the Olympics. The Olympics is the grandest stage of all. The whole world's eyes are on you. There's a tremendous hype around the Olympic Games. It is the epitome of sporting success, and everybody wants to be at their best. And the difficulty of the Olympic Games also is that it comes so infrequently. It comes once in 4 years. Whereas, at a World Cup or a World Championships in my sports, you have 4 World Cups in a year, you have a World Championship once in a couple of years. So there is a chance to redeem yourself quite quickly. But with the Olympics, it's one opportunity which you get once in 4 years, and you have to be on top of your game. We often talk about pressure and, the Olympic pressure, and it is absolutely real. I mean, there is no question about it. I mean, when you are competing at the Olympic Games, you will be under pressure. And I think perhaps sometimes athletes make the mistake of trying to run away from this pressure or try and create a make-believe world that there will be no pressure at the Olympic Games and treat it as just another competition. And that's where the mistake comes. And I think it is just about learning to endure this pressure, suffering through this pressure, stomaching this pressure through competition. Having a plan B as well is critically important in an Olympic Games, because you have a plan A, and for sure during some part of your competition, you will have a crisis, and you need to have the ability to quickly adapt and have a plan B, have a strategy in place. You have to be perfect on the imperfect day, and the Olympics is all about that adaptability. It is all about things somehow going wrong, and you have to get your skill together and get everything right on that particular day and on that particular moment, which is incredibly tough. I mean, you have 11,000 athletes competing in Tokyo. Only 300 odd athletes go home with gold medals. So just imagine how difficult it is to win a medal at the Olympic Games. That makes the whole event so very unique.
Vijender, tell us about your experience as a boxer. When you went into the games, India had not won a boxing medal. Wrestling had a medal. Wrestling had a medal from the 1950s, but boxing had nothing. And then there were all of you. There's one big generation that came through. There was great pressure on it. You had been to Athens. Did it feel different then when you went to Beijing? What was the difference between the Vijender of Athens, the Vijender of Beijing? How did you cope with the pressure that there was, particularly in that bout where you are waiting between you and a medal, basically?
In 2004, that was my first Olympic, and it's a big deal for me to go there. It's like like I'm the only one boy who represent Olympic. Everybody say Vijender Singh Olympian. So it's like a big deal for me to go there. But then I realized, because that time Mr. Rajyavardhan Rathore got the silver medal there, So he got that flower ka ek wo mila tha usko, that crown, that kind of thing. So I met him and I said, "Bahut badai ho." I met Abhinav also when he came with the gold medal. I said, "Bahut badai." It's like a proud moment when we meet, Olympic gold or Olympic silver. So that time I realized कि यार मैं यहाँ पहुँचना, it's बड़ा आसान है. You are here now. What next? So, but the podium, I think that was the real place to be there. That's the thing. So that time I realized, because I was too young that time. But then maturity will come. Then I represent Asian games. I got a silver. I got a bronze in that Asian games. Then I say, then my dream is start dreaming like, yes, now this is the time, bro. Just do it now this time. Then I. Going for a qualify in the first qualify that was in US 2007. In the first round, I was out, no qualify. Then again, I going for that Olympic qualify in Thailand. First round out. I got the last chance in that Kazakhstan. There I get a gold medal. Now after that, I didn't look back. Then we went Germany. Then I win then international tournament. I get a gold there. Then my body was in the form and I go there. Then I like yes, I can do that. Then I still remember one of guy from that I think from Iraq or Iran. He came to me. Then he said like इधर अल्लाह लेके जो अपनी अपनी भाषा में लैंग्वेज थी उनकी इधर ही ऐसे कम हियर यू गोइंग टू गेट मेडल है मैं कहा अच्छा मतलब ऐसे थोड़ी ना होता है यार तो he said मैं क्या बुड्ढा में पागल रखा हुआ that's my feeling like it's all right but then he told me like then I started then Akhil Kumar is everywhere but finally मैं नीचे से निकल गया I achieve it that's kind of thing there's no feeling but I think it's maturity that will come and you are like more responsible I think that's the thing that's the thing that's the difference in 2004 and 2008.
What about the pressure that they were? So you went in with experience into Beijing. You had that sort of backdrop. What about the pressure around you as to because there was so much talk about all of you, at that time,
No.
particularly boxers, and there was no hockey team.
For me, there's no pressure, because I have like secure job. I was in a senior TT in that railway, so I don't have any pressure or anything. Then I become inspector in that Haryana police. So I went there totally free mind and. Because I achieved that Commonwealth Games and that Asian Games, so I thought like I will do it, yaar, I will do it because you can they just say like think positive. So but I didn't get any negative thoughts when I reached there, but of course there is a pressure because it's biggest tournament in the whole world and all the athletes wants to be win. And the media and the family pressure. There's a lot of pressure, but I don't care. मैं phone नहीं उठाता तो उनके लिए just go away. So there is a pressure. I can say that yes, no doubt.
So just tell us about the Iranian again who said you'll win the medal. Was he part of the Iranian contingent? This is a story
yes,
I must.
He's a boxing coach. He's a boxing coach. Iraq or Iran. I don't remember that. Still that the little bit memory. Then he came to me. Then I came from that dining area in that morning breakfast we having after that weighing thing. And then he came to me when we going out. So that time he met me there and saying, "You're going to a good medal." I'm like, okay, that's it. So it's kind of some you getting signs when you are going to do that. I hope कि like Abhinav के साथ भी कुछ ऐसा like होती surprise things. I believe in magic. So that kind of thing happen when you do that kind of thing. Like when you're going to you getting positive sign कि like yeah this is my day. I can do it. Yeah.
Abhinav, tell us.
Yeah, for me, there were a couple of things. I think the Athens Olympics for me was the breakthrough moment there. I think it was my career's biggest failure when I had broken an Olympic record and then came tumbling down to 7th position in that Olympic final. And I met my mother 5 minutes after that Olympic final, and she told me, the maximum that you could do today is win bronze or silver. But you know what? You're going to win a gold medal, and you're going to win a gold medal in 4 years' time. So who argue with a mother's instinct? I had no chance but to believe that. And of course, you, Sharda, were very much there that day in Athens, and you were around that time, and you too joined in this call with my mother, and you said that it's 4 years just away, and now the progression is going to be the gold medal. So, when I was at my lowest ebb, I still had believers. And that time it made such a huge difference. It had such a deep impact somewhere, perhaps, that I continue to work hard and continue to believe. People around me continue to believe in me, even though there were moments when I felt hopeless. They continue to see hope in me, and that's what carried me through. I even remember receiving a letter from one of my coaches after Athens. This was from my coach Uwe, who I had a very difficult relationship with. Perhaps the only person in the whole world I hated and continue to hate. But he wrote me a letter after Athens, and one of the points in that letter was that you're next in line, that you're going to win the World Championships in 2006 and win the Olympic Games in 2008. I don't know how good of a coach he was, but he certainly was a good fortune teller.
For those who don't know, Abhinav won his World Championship gold medal in 2006, which is why all of us said, yeah, of course we knew he was going to do this. Of course, we were just like reaching out and saying, no, don't quit. Vijender, you made a very, very unusual decision after your sort of amateur career. You went pro. That's a very big move to make. It's a complete jump from what your whole life had been with reference to sport. Like you said, sport had given you a job, it had given you security, fame, and the pro world is completely different. What caused you to take that step, to make that change, to switch and say, okay, this is what I'm going to now try? You could have spent your whole life being an Olympic medalist.
No, but what's the harm in that? Because there's a fight between that Floyd and that Manny Pacquiao. That fight, and after that fight, that some promoter from UK, I think Frank Warren, he approached me. I am doing that police training in that Madhuban, and he approached me somehow through that my Indian promoter Nirav Taumar. And he said, you want to do professional boxing? That's new for me. I don't know about. I know about Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali. Mega Yar, what will we do? We want to try. Like, I want to see there. So, me or Nirav, then we went UK. We spent almost 15-20 days there. I tried their boxing thing, everything we tried. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, why not? Because I'm doing their police training, and it's been like my it's new for me, and I want to do some different. मैं bored हो जाता हूँ बहुत एक ही चीज करते करते बहुत जल्दी. So I want to do different, and that's how I started. Let's do that. Then there's a lot of controversy happened, and police didn't allow me to go there. But finally, we have been through all kind of thing. I think what's motivated me because I played 3 Olympics. I got Olympic medal, and I represent all the games, Asian Games. I got everything. So I want to do professional now. I want to do something else. I want to do something new, and that's motivate me. That's drive me. Like, let's do that thing. It's new for me, and I think Indian will like it. And the people, of course, they love me, and they love the sports. But after that, there is a democratization will happen when we arrive. There's one show, and the whole it's all about brand. It's all about money. The whole market is gone after that. But there is a long story, and finally we are here now. It's 13-1, so it's all right.
Did you sort of enjoy being in this completely new world? I mean, tell the viewers about how different pro boxing is.
It's totally new. It's totally professional. It's not like that. Somebody going to help you. No, it's all about you. It's all you. That's it. It's nobody going to push you. Like, you will do that thing. You will do that thing. It's all about money. It's all about professional things there. Just go. Okay, there's a match. That day on next day they decide the date. Like, that day we're going to fight there, and there's 2 months or 1 month they just train there. That's the opponent you fight there. We're going to fight in London or somewhere else. That's it. And how it's more relaxing, I can say that, because there is no foundation or no boundaries. It's more relaxed. Just go there and just show it like you are the best. That's it.
You're saying it's more relaxing than an Olympic being an Olympic competition. That is quite something.
It's look like that because in Olympics we represent India, right? It's we go there, it's Olympic team, your whole thing is there. But in professional, you going there, Vijender Singh from India, okay, that's my team is there, because there's difference between professional and amateur. But I achieved that thing already. I've been Olympic in 3 Olympics, and I got the Olympic medal. But in professional boxing, we hardly, like, there's few names. in a professional boxing. They tried boxing, but they not achieved that big titles in the professional boxing. But I want to do that thing, relaxing in my mind, because there is no pressure from the government or federation or any kind of thing. That kind of thing, that's kind of
It's like an
relaxation I
independent.
got.
It's like an independent. There's
Yes, it's
independence
more
to you.
like independent. You are signed with that, Frank Warren or Bob Arum or some Don King, or it's all about you and that promoter. That's it. That's what I want to say.
Itself, I mean, we had a conversation, me and Rudroni, Singh, the sports editor of Hindustan Times. He also said that technically it's a completely different sport in many ways. So, just a couple of things about that. Just to give you an idea of the change that you had to make in you, and just your capacity to be able to do this, to be comfortable and make the switch.
A switch, I think, because it's like 10 or 12 round fight. So you should be like more calm on your feet. It's not like that amateur like there is a 3 round boxing. No, it's a 10 or 12 round. It's you should be more calm. You get more hit on your face. It's not like that you just 3 round and just go out. No, you should be there for like half an hour in the ring, and you get bitten in that ring. So just be calm. That's the main. Big change for me, because because I did a lot of amateur boxing in my whole life, but when I go there, so there's a big difference, because I start jumping and just move, and he say, my coach said, no, just relax, it take time, just go slowly. It's not like that you just 3 round and just go out. No, you should be in the ring like half an hour, then you have to move accordingly, just save your energy, save your tank, he always told me. And slowly, we starting from 4 round, then we go for 6, then 8 round, then 10 round, and I hope he like next year we'll go for 12 round. Yeah. So that's the big thing, and there's a lot of changes like accordingly, because very team thi like especially my coach GS Sandhu, my friends all was here, but when I switch, I have to leave my team here in India, and joining a new team. So there's a lot of things we have to control when you go there. So like language, like food, environment, everything is changed, but you have to be there and just being through like one day, make everything going to be all right, and finally it's all right.
You don't regret it at all. You're glad that you went and
Sometimes
you're
I'm regret that I should turn pro like earlier, like after 2009 or 2010. Sometimes I think, because when I go there, to then they saying ki like, okay, like how old are you? When I turned pro, that time I was 28. They say ki yaar bada late, like why you joining so late? Like I was in amateur boxing because I played 3 Olympics. Then they search about me in the Google and then say, oh, you are a good boxer. I'm like, yes, I'm a good boxer. So yeah.
quite interesting, Abhinav, when you listen to sort of the options that are available to athletes of various sports. I mean, going pro in shooting is obviously not a thing, but you've spent about more than 10 years now, as 20 years now, as someone in sport, as a competitor now, on the outside. What kind of sort of mental adjustments do you think athletes should be ready to make? What are the transition opportunities that they should know that are there for them? How did you transition from being a competitor to walking out of Rio and saying, "Does anyone want my rifle?" when your final was done? So what is your advice to everyone who's thinking of switching, changing, maybe doing something completely different? Like what Vijender says is extraordinary what he was able to do, because there are so many sort of things that are in our psyche as Indian athletes or young people or competitors, or sort of boxes we need to fit in.
Well, a transition out of sport is always going to be a difficult one. I think as athletes, we lead very unique lives because we have a life as an active athlete, and then one day it abruptly ends, and then we have to start off life all over again. And I think athletes really need to be prepared for this transition, because more than anything, there is a change in self identity, which is always very difficult to cope up with. And I think you need to prepare for this transition. If it happens very abruptly, I think that's when athletes struggle to a certain degree to really start off in life again. But I think it brings an interesting point on also how sport is developing in India. We have many young athletes now competing in sport, and which will also mean that we're going to have many more athletes fail in sport, many young athletes fail in sport, because that is the very nature of sport. You will have more failure than success. And I think as a system, we all have a collective responsibility to also encourage a dual career, even as athletes. The role of education or just skilling up athletes for something other than just their sport, I think, is very, very important. You have other countries, you look at the US system, which relies heavily on the collegiate system, for example. Education plays a very important role in the overall development. And I think for athletes world over, this is a big problem area. I think as athletes, we tend to develop very well as athletes, but we don't develop well enough as human beings while we are competing. And that's where I think the whole system world over needs to pay more attention to and just help build other skills in athletes as well, even when they are young, even when they are competing, to help them transition out of their way out of sport, because sports careers are also quite small. They're not that you can carry on for 40 years. It's a short period of time. It's the youth where the person is giving his or her life to. But if you can just have this concept of a dual career, I think it will also help athletes perform better when the going gets tough, perform better at a stage where there is pressure, like at the Olympics. I think the worst thing to happen to an athlete is that he or she feels that his or her self-worth is dependent on where his or her name will feature on the ranking list. If you go into a competition with that frame of mind, it just gets tougher. So just to make sure that athletes also build a different skill, even while they are playing it. It's not key you have to reduce training time or anything. Even if you spend 1 hour a day, but make it part of the regime to help them do something different, equip them, skill them up, I think will help this transition to a great degree. For me personally, it was one of the better things I did in my sports career. I think I made lots of mistakes, but here I really planned for this transition. It wasn't an abrupt decision which I took. It took me 3 to 4 years to come to an understanding that yes, the Rio Games will be my last games, and I had to start thinking of life beyond that day as well. And that just helped me make a somewhat of a smoother transition. I'm still trying to gain my self-identity. I still don't really have one. I still struggle on certain days. But of course, I look back to the learnings that I had from sport, and all those learnings and the values that I had from sport to keep trying, to keep working hard, to keep having a goal, helps me even in my day-to-day life. So, well, while my sports career is definitely over, the learnings from sport, what I learned from sport, will remain true and valuable to me for the rest of my life in whatever I do.
Vijender, going on from what Abhinav has just said, what are your life learnings from your sport, and what would be the advice that you give to younger boxers that are there? From your life, what you have learned, your experiences, the risks and the changes that you make, what would you say to young boxers? And this is before I'll ask you about the Olympic boxers. But
Yeah,
first of all,
I
yes.
think never give up, because when I started boxing in 98 or 99, I went to state level tournament. In first round, I was out. Then somehow I become a state champion. Then I went to that national level, and I went there in Calcutta, and I lost in that first round in national championship out. And then again that the same thing happened in international level also, but I never give up, because I want to do it. Like, how it's possible, like how he can beat me, because iske bhi do aata hai, mere bhi do aata hai, how can he beat me? So it's kind of think like that's keep me motivating, like I don't want to be quit, no bro, I want to do it more. It's never give up, just do it more, and always think positive, never think like नहीं ऐसा नहीं हो सकता ऐसा नहीं हो सकता क्यों नहीं हो सकता why not what's the harm in that like you got a life you have to do so many things in life just go on just whatever you got in your way just any opportunity it's good or bad it will decide after the decision it's not like that it will like okay I got it like no just try it that one it will if you just win that thing you got a good thing everybody like happy if you lose you got experience then you can share with your next generation with your kids with your younger boxer just focus just focus keep going on never give up that's the thing.
Are you thinking about sort of a post boxing career for yourself? And would you advise younger boxers to say turn pro if you want to take a chance,
I think
particularly
I
those
think
who are
first
looking to
you should get your Olympic medal. That's more important. You got a name, you got a fame, you got everything. And you got a good deal in the professional if you going with the Olympic medal or Asian Game gold medal or Commonwealth Games gold medal. That's a big deal. And turn professional, you can do it anytime. Yeah, it's not a big deal but you should be like more you should be achieved like in a measure that's the big thing I don't want to be say that "Ki, like you should turn professional it's in a like when you started no don't do that just first achieve in that amateur then turn professional that's the advice for my young boxer and I want to say one thing to all the athlete who represent in that Tokyo ki, never give up. It's all right. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. It's all right because they played well. Like especially Manish Kaushik, he plays so good in that against that British guy, and there is Sumranjit Kaur, that girl that he fought with that U.S. boxer. So these are the young kids. They represent India in that Olympic level. So they are nervous because they belong to like the small villages. So I know that like what kind of pressure and what kind of thinking they have. So it's a big thing. It's all right. You got experience. Next time, just use that experience and just go like and just achieve it there. So don't break your heart or anything. Just don't do it. Yeah.
just a couple of things more, Vijender, about Lavlina and Satish and the bouts that they had. Satish was up against literally a world champion of enormous skill and enormous record and all of it, and he never gave up. And literally, he got bashed in. He got like he took a lot of punches.
Yeah.
Did you watch that match? And did you watch Lavlina? And
I
what
seen that
you
I seen Satish fight. I know that before the fight because when he fought that against that Jamaican guy, so he got a big cut here. So I know that it's not going to be easy with that world champion that Uzbekistan. So I know that it's going to be happen. So it's I seen that fight, but he fought so well. He fought with the courage, but it's part of the game. But Lavlina, like she plays so good, like in that quarterfinal match against that Taipei with the straight punches. That's the big thing. That's what I like about her, and she enjoyed the game that time. And in the semi-final, because that's we know that she going to fight that against that world champion, and I know that it's going to
so
happen. But
really
yeah, so I know that and how she play like with the confidence that the Turkish girl. So, but it's all right. Next time, like might be a lovely night. She will she gain more experience now, and she will beat her next time. Might be. Yeah.
Um, we are just coming sort of towards the end of our conversation here. I could go on for a long time. Abhinav, now you said something to me just before we began about what it's been like watching the Olympics as a fan. Why don't you tell us that, and then I'll ask you another question. What's it
Oh,
been like
well, it's
for
been
you?
incredibly exciting to watch. When I was competing, I was always assailed by a lot of anxiety, and I was a chicken-hearted person. But I can readily admit that it's much worse watching. I find it incredibly difficult to watch when we have close matches, and there's an Indian athlete there's a medal at stake. I find it very difficult to watch. There have been many occasions where I've had to switch off the television. I just could not stomach the pressure, but I really felt it. But it's been really enjoyable to watch. I think the Olympic spirit, I think, really has captured the hearts and minds of the entire country. I think every morning we all wake up with something interesting to follow, something interesting to watch. And I think more than the sporting action, I think more than what our athletes have done, there are lessons for everybody who's watching, lessons for the young boys and girls who form the majority of our population, can imbibe from just watching these Olympic Games. You have athletes who, as Vijender said, never give up, and we've had so many athletes going through. There has been heartbreak as well, and I think that's again so important for us as a society to learn on how to lose and how to lose well, how to fail well, how to accept failure, how to deal with failure. So I think on the whole, the Olympics have been amazing to watch, and I think I really, really hope that this again starts a new era in the development of sport in India, and a development in the whole area of Olympic sport. Of course, our athletes will continue to shine and continue to do well, but I think it is also about following these athletes year round. It's not just wake up once in 4 years, but continue to follow them, continue to watch them, continue to watch them play. And that in itself is a huge contribution each one of us can make. I mean, whenever, of course, when COVID stops, I want young boys and girls to go and watch the next district competition or the next club competition happening in your vicinity. Who knows that there will be an Olympic champion coming out of that very arena couple of years thereof. And there you make it already as just if you're making an immense contribution by just going and supporting these athletes, just going and watching these athletes. When I competed, for example, in India, nobody ever came to watch me while I competed in India. And then suddenly I went to an Olympic Games, and suddenly there were 10,000 people in this final hall. It was tough. It was overwhelming. But I think it is time that everybody gets involved in Olympic sport and everybody contributes. And it's not just about contributing by giving resources. It is just also a huge contribution can be made by just following your athletes, going and watch them compete when the next championship is happening in your city.
Vijender, how much of the game did you watch? Are you a easy watcher? Are you a nervous watcher? What are you? What would you want amateur boxing, Indian boxing to become? What is your hope for it for the future? Do you think there should be changes, leagues, something about that?
I don't know what should I say about that thing, because they tried very hard. Like our boxer, it's not like that they give up easily, but that especially Amit and that Vikas Krishna, that performance surprised me, because they lost in first round, because Amit was like, he was world number one. He is world number one, and Vikas Krishna, he lost against the Japanese boy because he was already at that racing in gold medal. So that performance surprised me, but before they going to Olympic, there should be a class like cycling that they can release their stress here, or like someone there to be like whom they talk to, like him or her, anyone. Just go there, just tell them like I'm going through that kind of thing right now. If someone discuss like how's you feeling before the Olympic, that like there should be I don't know, like there should be a guy or anyone like they can discuss their problem with them. That's kind of, because they've been through a lot of pressure, and that's the thing I want to say. And yeah, it's not easy, but they perform well, and it takes time to be like reach that level. Like it takes time. Yeah, we've been there like slowly. Yeah.
Just to add
last
to one point, Sharda,
yes,
to what I was saying, we have this lovely Cheer for India campaign running at the moment. Let's not stop it at the Olympics. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going to Paris and beyond, which will be great for athletes also for athletes to get used to the spotlight being on them throughout the whole cycle. And I think also just to get people involved into lesser known sports through the whole cycle of an Olympic Games.
That's been terrific. Again, like I said, I could go on. For everyone watching, these are Abhinav Bindra and Vijender Singh.
I want to ask one thing to Abhinav here, because like what's going on in your mind when you have a gun at that time in your hand in 2008 Olympics? Because that's I want to always ask you, like, you know, when you have that pistol in your hand and you are shooting, and like what's going on in your mind that time? Do you feel any kind of pressure, or do you calm, or do you know the score, or like, you know, what kind of like thoughts you getting, like, you know, if like I'm a boxer, I can tell my thing, but you are a shooter, right? You are to what going through in your mind that time? That's the question I want to ask you all the time whenever I met you, but finally I got the chance. So yeah.
इट इज आप ऐसे इमेजिन करो, यू नो, आपको एक 10 स्टोरी की बिल्डिंग को ऊपर क्लाइंब करना है, एंड यू हैव टू क्लाइंब अ फ्लाइट ऑफ स्टेयर्स, और 10 स्टोरीज आपको भाग के ऊपर क्लाइंब करना है, और जैसे आप क्लाइंब करो सडनली यू हैव टू स्टैंड एब्सोल्युटली स्टिल और अपना हार्ट रेट बिल्कुल काम करना होता है. सो इट इज रियली रियली डिफिकल्ट, क्योंकि unlike other sports, you know, when you get this adrenaline, ये pressure आता है, ये जो energy आती है, आपके पास कोई outlet होता है. इस sport में तो आपको सब अंदर ही रखना होता है. So it is like dying 100 deaths and then just trying to find calm in chaos. पूरा mind is totally out of order. Everything is out of order. But किसी तरह you have to get your skill together. किसी तरह you have to find adaptability, you have to find creativity, because उस टाइम तो पसीने छूटे होते हैं, your heart attack आने वाला होता है. I think मैंने अपनी लाइफ में 3 ओलंपिक फाइनल खेले हैं, और मैंने अपनी लाइफ में आई थिंक उन 3 एक्सपीरियंसेस में मैं कभी इतना जिंदा नहीं फील किया. मेरे को कभी इतना पता नहीं था कि मेरा हार्ट इतना तेज बीट भी कर सकता है, और वो भी कुछ कर भी नहीं रहा था. मैं तो खाली खड़ा हुआ था, I was just standing and trying to stand still, and my heart was beating at 200 beats per minute. I'm glad अब तो वो हार्ट रेट मॉनिटर भी दिखाने लग गए हैं ड्यूरिंग कंपटीशन. मैं तो बहुत खुश हूँ, मैं रिटायर कर गया, नहीं तो सब मेरे ऊपर हंसते कि और मेरा जो अंदर चल रहा था सबको दिख जाता. So it is very
but what you did in that Olympic, that's a really big deal, and we always appreciate you. Like we are like you are the role model, and I always like tell people, like, you know, be like that, you know, be he's the like first individual Olympic gold, and nobody can achieve that thing till now. But it's a really big thing, Abhinav sir, and it's pleasure, like, you know, yeah, it's not that easy.
We're
because
proud of you. You've done so much for boxing, and you continue to slay. So all credit to you, and really wish you all the very best. For the
thank you, sir.
No words. We can't say anything else. This is the best time to go. Abhinav, Vijender, thank you so much for all the memories, all the fun, and all the conversation. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you, Sharda.
Thank you.
Please take care.
Bye.
Take care, Abhinav sir. Take care.